Welcome to another episode of From the Logo Podcast. Gifted is out today, but me and ZZ gonna hold it down nonetheless. ZZ, how's your week been, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty solid. Preseason basketball getting me in the mood for the season to get here, man. Prayers up to PG though, because
Yeah, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about. Yeah, that's it's always something going on. But we'll talk about the 76ers because we'll talk about him and Joel Embiid saying he may never play back-to-backs again, which is crazy to
yeah,
say. But let's start off with this. The New York Knicks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if you got to watch this game, ZZ, but this was probably the most intense preseason game I've seen in the last 5 years, bro. I don't know if I've ever seen like the amount of shit talking that was done in this game, in a preseason game. You would have thought that they were fighting for something. This wasn't even an in-season tournament game. This is a
yeah,
preseason game.
yeah.
How'd you feel about this game? And are we seeing a maybe a low-key rivalry being built here between the Timberwolves and the Knicks?
It'll be an interesting thing. I wouldn't go as far to say a rivalry, but I didn't even get a chance to see the shit. I had a very long weekend doing some Halloween shit with friends, but so I just saw highlights of stuff, but nonetheless, when I saw Dante DiVincenzo at the free throw line, you know what I'm saying, talking his shit, and I love Dante. I love Dante DiVincenzo, always have. Was pissed that the Warriors weren't able to keep him, but in that moment, I'm sitting there like, yo, you could tell this is really personal, and all the credit to him is justifiable. Don't get me wrong. You know, we didn't even get to see the Nova Knicks. We was hyping up the Nova Knicks. Everybody was hyping up the Nova Knicks, and didn't even get to see them play. But just at the thought of being able to see them play, I came on here and said Thibodeau needs guys that play his style at this point, right? Dante was one of those guys. Sucks, but it seems like Dante was going and chirping at Tibbs. I don't know if Tibbs got a little bit more leeway than we think in New York. Who knows? Who cares? But as far as a rivalry, nah, man, nah, I can't see that. Big Purr was out there going stupid though. Shout out to Cat.
Did you call that man Big Purr? That's hilarious.
That's not even me. Josh Hart on Twitter said, "Y'all chat, help me out. How many names did y'all see from Josh Hart? Big Purr, Bodega Cat, or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
All that. So, the chemistry level 100, I guess. But but nah. Ant clapping at Jalen Brunson. I will say I noticed the comment section starting to turn on Ant a little bit, which I'm not gonna lie, I expected because they build you up and they want to see you
Yeah,
fall.
they didn't want to
But
tear you down.
yeah, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I don't think I'd say rivalry though. Nah.
You don't think so? It's hard to have a rivalry between two teams in different conferences too, because you only see them
Mhm.
twice a year, right? Unless some in-season tournament type thing happens, but other than that, like you only see them twice a year. So it's like, can it even really be a rivalry in that case in time? Like, don't get me wrong, I love the competitiveness. I'm all
Yeah.
for the competitiveness. Like, bring back shit talking in basketball. I'm all for that, right? And I
Facts.
think that with Dante DiVincenzo, like coming out after the trade, that he was already starting to be concerned about his minutes and his shots and things like that. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of that. And him and Rick Brunson getting into it after the game. Now, I love that it got followed up and said that Rick Brunson and Dante are basically family. So
Mhm.
listen, I don't think it's ever gonna, has no chance of elevating to anything physical or anything like that. So I just look at this as fun. Like when they play each other the two times this year, which I think the first time they'll play each other in the regular season is like mid-November or something like
Mhm.
that. They've just made it to where it's a must watch for me personally, just because I'm interested to see what storylines develop in it.
Facts. I will agree with that. I won't say it's a rivalry, but I'll concede to say that there's some beef there. All warranted though. All
Yeah.
warranted. So it's gonna make for great basketball at the end of the day. Like I said before though, like as far as like who won the trade, we gonna see. I feel like a lot of people look at it and say New York. I would agree to the point of Karl Anthony Towns is just a better basketball player than Julius Randle in the year
Yeah.
2024. So it is what it is. I am interested to see what happens with Minnesota and their offense and all of that, because Julius Randle's got bigger shoes to fill, almost you could argue, than Cat does in New York. Like Cat has big shoes to fill in New York regardless, but that's because it's the New York Knicks. So
Yeah.
everybody has big shoes to fill. In Minnesota, you can't really say that other than the fact that Julius Randle is going to be shooting a high volume of threes, all probably on par with Cat, right? He's there for isolation play, his scoring ability. You're gonna hope that he can play make out of double teams and whatnot. I don't even know what the hell a front court of him and Rudy Gobert should look like, but we gonna see. Uh, so yeah, I'm interested to see all of those angles from both of those teams. Like, how are these acquisitions that you made in the offseason going to enhance what you did last season? So interested to see that.
And I think over like just watching to see how this works out for the Minnesota Timberwolves is going to be interesting. Well, for both teams, as a matter of fact, like to watch how this grows and develops over the course of the season, how the balance works out is fun. Now, something that was said from this, Brian Windhorst said that Anthony Edwards is becoming one of the best trash talkers in the NBA. And I thought this would be a fun conversation. I know it's off the top of your head. Who are the best trash talkers right now in the NBA?
Okay, Ant's up there. I can't
Ant's
even.
definitely up there.
Ant's up there for sure. Luka's for sure up there. And the thing about Luka that I love is like, man, I don't know if y'all remember, but y'all remember, I think it might have been it was either during the bubble or when fans like weren't being able to be in attendance. But was it Montrezl Harrell calling him like a bitch ass white boy or something like that? Like, and I was like, yo, you really like now you not like, is going from you testing this gangster on the court, but you testing this gangster as a man right now. Like, that's crazy.
That's a fact.
You know, the one thing that you can say about Luka Doncic is when he's talking his shit, it's usually provoked. And when it is provoked, the nigga has a Larry Bird complexion where it's like, I'm gonna tell you what I'm about to do to you because
and I'm still gonna go do
your mouth, and I'm still gonna go do it, right? And ain't nothing you can do about it. So Luka's up there. I'm gonna ask you a question after this. I gotta give a couple more though. Chat, help me out if y'all can. Best trash talkers in the game.
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, by default, I guess, because
by the definition of talking shit.
Exactly. Pat Bev when he was there. When he was
there. I mean, he's out now.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. We can't forget Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid waved at a baby. Like, I don't know. I'm a Bulls fan. He killed the Bulls. I think he scored like 35 points on us. And the baby was crying in the second row, and he waved at the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That instantly puts you up there.
Yeah, he's in that mix. LeBron, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is in that mix. Jimmy Butler's top 4. So that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Now, chat, fake trash talkers. Who are they? Top of the list. First name
Rudy Gobert.
Fake trash talkers?
Rudy Gobert, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I was gonna say Devin Booker, but,
that's a fact. Absolutely, 100% fact on that one. Devin Booker.
Like, he's the first person that came to my mind. It's not that Devin Booker can't back up his trash talk. It's not that at all. He can hoop. Love Devin Booker. I think he's still the best shooting guard in the game. But the nigga be talking trash, and it usually just don't be working out for him. Him and Luka, I was like, look, bro, you can score your ass off. Yes, you can, but please don't wake this white boy up. Like, and then they lost by 40 in game 7. But Grant Williams, he in that mix, fake trash talker. I agree. Draymond's in that mix of like real trash talkers, just to where it's like
he's also a crash out. So
D1. But yeah, Goat James, Steph Curry, but those are like you poke the bear type trash talkers. Like Kevin Durant, poke the bear type trash talkers. Because when KD's on one and he's talking shit, it's the best thing to watch. Like the Evan Fournier, he talking to the bench, he talking to the coach, like the fans. KD in that mix too.
Yeah, KD's definitely in that mix. That's funny. Bring trash talking back in the NBA more frequently. So we need a Kevin Garnett level trash talker. That's what we need right now. Yeah, we need that. That's just funny though. Overall though, how many preseason games have you gotten to catch up on, ZZ? Watch a lot of preseason?
Not a lot. The only thing that I've watched consistently is the Warriors, obviously. And we look amazing when hot. Let me preface by saying this. Like, I don't put a lot of stock in preseason. I've said it before. I don't put a lot of stock in preseason. I don't put a lot of stock in summer league. Like, I just don't. But I will say that when I have caught preseason games, right, it gives me a feel of what the team is going to look like when I see them hitting on all cylinders. In the case of the Warriors, right, the things that I'm looking for from this team, right, go from based off of last season, mind you, 10 games over 500 they were last year, but the Western Conference is stacked. So that's what I have to work with here. No matter how many like pros I could say I saw in the team last year, the Western Conference is stacked. So you're going to have to be on your shit, and maybe even more this year. Jonathan Kuminga, right? Haven't seen much of Wiggins at all. I know his father recently just passed. My condolences. but haven't seen a lot from Wiggins, so I don't really know what to expect and how he's gonna look. But as far as the other guys, like I don't care about Steph Curry either. I was like, nigga, Steph 36. I don't care about Steph. I don't care about LeBron. I don't care about Kevin Durant at this state in their careers. Nigga, everybody else do your job. They the elder statesmen. They can do whatever they want to do at this point. So all the outside pieces, Buddy Hield looks amazing. Literally, Hayes. I don't know if you caught it. This nigga is in the spots that Klay would be in and knocking it down consistently. And you got to think, like, I know people look at Buddy Hield. He's never been one that I think people have overrated. I've always felt like he's been properly rated because they know he can shoot. But my only concern with that is, like, what does the defense in that backcourt of him and Steph look like? How much can I rely on a 36-year-old Steph Curry to still be shuffling his feet? And how much can I rely on Buddy Hield to start shuffling his feet? I don't know. Don't know. But guys like TJD, Draymond, Pods have looked great. Moody's looked great. Looney been knocking down mid-range jumpers a little bit with a little bit more.
That's big for Looney. He needs to do that consistently.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I ain't putting stock in the team. You know, I ain't sitting here saying they're gonna win the championship, but I will say, I was like, how are they going to incorporate these pieces into the puzzle? Kyle Anderson, how's he going to look in the Warrior system? And a lot of the times, like, you can take a player from a role player from another team or somebody that was a journeyman or whatever, you throw them in the right system, they thrive the best. So for Buddy Hield's sake, like, he might be in for a resurgence, the likes of what he had like his first year in Indiana or his last couple of years in Sacramento. Like, with the Warriors, he could do that because you're going to get more looks, you're going to get more run. We love shooting threes, nigga. So you're at home. Like, you couldn't do any of this shit in Philly. You might as well make good use of it. So I'm interested to see that for sure. Everybody else we gonna see. What have you been able to catch, actually?
I mean, everything. I've been watching a lot of preseason basketball. I got to catch Zach Edey's game, which people went crazy over that, and I'm just looking at it like, I mean, Zach Edey's going, like, he's on the best situation on the best team for him. But overall, I'm looking at still the Zach Edey situation. I'm just like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not moved by it. People are like, oh my God, and y'all let Zach Edey, like, okay, he put up 23 points in a preseason game. Let's wait till the lights are on.
We're gonna have to see.
And the thing I look at with preseason, much like you, I look at preseason more for about like the process more than the results, right? Like, how are you going about getting your points? How are you looking defensively on your rotations? Are you understanding how to read the defense? Those are the type of things I'm looking at. And so I'll say this, like, I think this rookie class, I know people were down on this rookie class coming in and called it a weak class, but I think a lot of these rookies all went to situations to where they may be able to thrive. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this rookie class. For the people who really don't pay attention outside of the narrative part, they just go off what they've heard analysts and things say about some of these rookies. I think a lot of these rookies are gonna surprise some people when they get their opportunity during the regular season.
Yeah. Hey, look, have you been able to catch Bronny and LeBron?
Yeah. Fuck that. That's what I got to say on that. But we got a guest coming in, man. We got a guest coming in to talk about his Kings. We got Ox in the building. What's going on, Ox?
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
Yeah, we got
good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, man. Anytime, brother. Anytime, especially when we got a Kings topic on the board. So De'Aaron Fox turned down a parent $165 million contract extension because if he does make an All-NBA team this season, he's eligible for a 5-year, $345 million Supermax deal. How you feeling about this, Ox? Is this the right decision?
Even if he doesn't make an All-NBA team, he can still get 4 years, 230. You know what I mean? So, like, I was excited when I heard about this because that it says a couple things. It says that, first of all, we got a point guard that's a thinker. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking long term. So, I mean, that means he's thinking ahead. On top of that, though, it makes me think he got cruel intentions coming this season.
I feel that.
Because he like, I got to get that first. I got to get all NBA. You know what I'm saying? It's money on the line. That's like, what is that? Like 69 mil a year?
Yeah.
Crazy contract.
Yeah,
so he playing for something. And so, that's, to me, that just shows that the beam will light again. And y'all in trouble. Y'all in trouble. So, I mean, I don't want to get too far into some Kings propaganda as they call it, but I am happy to see that you turned that contract down though.
No, go ahead. Let's get into the Kings propaganda because that's what we're gonna turn it over for. Like, how are you feeling about the Kings? They acquired Harrison Barnes. They got no, they didn't get Harrison Barnes. They sent out Harrison Barnes. They got DeMar DeRozan this season. How are you feeling about the Kings' chances in a deep Western Conference this year?
I mean, we good out west. You know, like Western Conference Finals is something I was saying before it came out with DeMar. I think we can get to the Western Conference Finals for sure. I don't know about getting to the finals, but I believe we got Western Conference Finals potential. You know what I mean? Like, I think De'Aaron, DeMar, and DeMontis that's a crazy three-headed monster. And then we got a supporting cast. Like Trey Lyles is back, Malik Monk back, Kevin Huerter back, all three of which got hurt at some point in the last stretch of the season, which is why we missed the playoffs. We only missed the playoffs because those three were hurt at the same time. You know what I mean? So now we got DeMar. We finally got us a 6'6", 6'7" wing that can go band for band with some of these other wings in the third quarter in a stretch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying DeMar is Devin Booker. I'm not saying he's anybody in particular, but he could go bucket for bucket with any other 6'6", 6'7" wings in the league. So we finally got somebody to match that type of intensity. So I think we're the most slept on team in the NBA. I wouldn't be surprised if we was the third seed again, if not the second seed. I think we're better than OKC personally.
What's your biggest concern with the Sacramento Kings coming into this season?
Rim protection.
Okay.
Rim protection. We're gonna be getting we have to move our feet on the perimeter, or we're gonna be getting cooked at the rim.
So let me ask you this question, Ox, because I talked about it with you in Indiana. Like, y'all having DeMar DeRozan. The only question mark that I have in that starting lineup, in that starting front court, because I'm assuming y'all are gonna probably put DeMar at the 4. What you think?
I don't know.
Not with Murray there. You think DeMar at the 4?
Oh, you think Keegan Murray will be there?
Yeah.
Or in the 4 and then put DeMar at the 3? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it just depends on matchup.
It does depend on matchup for sure. So the one thing that I will say is for defense, like, that was my only thing where I was like, because I remember that 2023 run that y'all had. I was like, this is some of the most exciting offense that you're going to watch, and it's coming out of the Western Conference, and it's coming from the Sacramento Kings that year, right? Hot seed, top 3 seed in the Western Conference, and the only question mark that they had throughout the regular season was that defense, right? So, do you think that question mark has been resolved in a way, or do you think that just by having DeMar and De'Aaron Fox, 2 of the best fourth quarter scorers in basketball, as long as y'all can stay in these games, it's all about the finish? So what you think?
We last year and the year before that, we weren't bad on defense. We just had bad rim protection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we still got good perimeter defense. I think Keegan Murray's getting better and better. He's getting stronger. He's getting stronger. He's getting smarter. He's going to be our defender. Obviously, Keon Ellis, but the guy that has to guard the guys is going to be Keegan Murray. And so I don't think we have a bad defense. I didn't think we had a bad defense last year. The year before that, it was questionable, but it wasn't as bad as the numbers might have told you. Because when you might have a breakdown and then get a bucket at the rim, and it may look like, oh, they're not playing on defense. When in actuality, we actually are. Like, De'Aaron Fox and Keon Ellis, they're playing defense. Keegan's playing defense. Even Domantas Sabonis is playing defense. He just can't protect that cut. Like, if he just get up there vertically and really protect the rim better. But I think that's the only thing I'm worried about on both sides of the floor. The only thing I'm worried about is rim protection. Other than that, but we could play with anybody. We could play with anybody except the Celtics.
Let me ask you this question, Ox. I know you say a lot about rim protection. I understand that. How concerned are you with the fact that the Kings allowed almost a 39% from 3 last year for their opponents? Like, that's the second highest in the league last year as far as opponent 3-point shooting percentage. Are you worried at all about that, especially with adding DeMar DeRozan, who isn't a great perimeter defender?
No, I'm not too concerned.
Okay,
I'm not concerned with that. It's a number, but I'm not too worried about it. You know what I'm saying? I think that kind of happens when you get into one of those just shootouts. Like, if we play in that shootout style, I think we gotta depend on getting more stops. instead of just trying to outscore. Because we'll give things up because we're getting passing lanes. We're trying to speed the game up. You know, we'll trap certain positions, and so it'll end up like somebody might get an open shot or a clear lane to the rack. So I just don't think the numbers are indicative of the defense we play. I think we play. I think we're trying to look for a more chaotic, like a controlled chaos type defense, and I don't think that's the best way to go about it. I think, you know, if it was up to me, I might pull that back a little bit and want to play solid, stay in between the man and the basket, stay in front of your man, less gambling. I would probably preach that, but we play a fast pace, and now with DeMar DeRozan, we can slow it down and get buckets in half court too. Like,
yeah, and that's that. Go ahead.
If you look at like a lot of the spots where Harrison Barnes was playing, it's like we can really plug DeMar DeRozan in that on offense. Like on the baseline, catching the ball in the corner, attacking on closeouts and stuff like that. DeMar DeRozan's going to cook in that type of setting. So it's like we don't really have to change a whole lot on offense as long as DeMar isn't like super thirsty for the ball. Like, I mean, which he needs to get his shots, don't get me wrong. But if he can kind of be cool and let De'Aaron and DeMontis bring it to him, well, I think our offense is better than it's been in the past 2 seasons. Regardless
I can see that too.
Or less or not. Our offense.
I can see that too.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, because when you look at DeMar, I think DeMar has the great chance to merge what he was in Chicago and what he was towards the end of that San Antonio run here in Sacramento, because in San Antonio, DeMar deferred a lot to players that were much younger than him. And I think we started to see that a little bit towards the end of Chicago with Kobe's ascension. Yeah. And I think that now with having De'Aaron Fox, with having Sabonis there, and just the passing, the way that ball can move around, because especially with Sabonis, being in the top 3 of triple doubles the last 3 years, like there's going to be a lot of solid passing from every position. And I think that's where you can maximize on DeMar DeRozan for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. Did y'all have another take on this? Like as far as De'Aaron turning down the bread, like, did y'all think that this might be a touch and go situation, or what you think?
Nah, it's not like the way I felt about the Paul George and the Clippers debacle. Like that was something I was like, oh yeah, he leaving. De'Aaron Fox, I'm like, oh no, he's trying to get more money, and rightfully so. Like I was like, this is not a situation like somebody had said somebody had compared it to like Jimmy Butler and Bam, between the two of them, like. Bam wouldn't be trying to go for a supermax contract, knowing that he doesn't score the ball as much as Jimmy Butler does, to get him into all NBA talks like that. All defensive, for sure. He's there. So he's going to get that 4-year max regardless. But in terms of making that super money, you're going to have to pick one of the 2 people. So in the case of Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, which one would deserve it more? Some might argue Sabonis, but I'd say, yeah, De'Aaron Fox, that's the franchise player right there. So you know, if he's betting on himself, like Ox said, this could be a scary year for anybody having to guard De'Aaron Fox, because that man might be a man on a mission for more than just, you know, a top seed in the Western Conference or a playoff appearance. Like, bro, trying to get his bread too at the end of the day. So, yeah, he was looking at it. I was like, yeah, he gonna get his money for sure. They're gonna give it to him.
Hey, it looked like you was about to say something else.
I think, and this is just for the interest of conference, because I believe in De'Aaron Fox. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be good. I think he's going to be great. He's going to be motivated. But I do think that, as we've seen for players that qualify for that supermax, if he does, it puts the franchise in a unique situation to where they're losing a lot of financial flexibility. And so they have to be, if he qualifies, because I don't think there's any chance they won't give him the money. He's 26 years old. This is probably going to be his last chance to get a deal this big, because he'll be 27 when the extension kicks in. And so I'm not worried about him living up or earning the money. It's more about, are the Kings prepared and are they smart enough to then still maintain some flexibility to add to that team every year? Because as we've seen, you get your supermax player, you still have to find a way to improve or fix the holes or the gaps on that team. And I just think that with the agent DeMar DeRozan, he's here now for 3 years. I think you guys signed him for 2 or 3 years. It could be in that time frame within the first 1 or 2 years after signing this extension, you may have to pivot to where you need to add something pretty big to your team. And that's the question that I have for it.
I can see that. The only thing I'm thinking about, I'm just putting myself in Malik Monk's shoes for a second. Just because I'm like, this is my brother and I love him. I love you, De'Aaron. And Malik took a pay cut this year. Like Malik should have got some more money. I was like, if Orlando was going to offer him a significant amount of bread, I would want Malik to go get that money because I think he deserves it. That's only now. Obviously, you're not going to be hating on your brother. You're not going to be like in his pockets or nothing. But I'm gonna be like, man, if y'all gonna give him that, y'all could have for sure gave me another. I don't know. Y'all could have gave me a little something more, because Malik is he's the heart and soul of our bench. You know what I mean? When he comes in at the end of that first quarter, the intensity picks up. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. If De'Aaron is able to get this much, I'm just like give De'Aaron his bread, but y'all could have broke the Malik off a little bit more than that.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, Ox. To Hayes' point though, as well about the long-term flexibility. Like, I don't know about y'all, but because of this offseason, I was like, let me really start diving into the terminology around how NBA free agency, offseason acquisitions, and all that shit works out. So I started to keen in a lot more on like the second apron and shit. Like, why is this the thing? Why did they feel the need to do this? And in doing my research, I found that essentially the NBA's goal was to have what they've accomplished, which is a lot more parity amongst teams. The only issue with that is when you're trying to build a championship roster and a championship core, because building a championship roster is one thing, but building a championship core, as seen from the Warriors and the Spurs, and the Celtics and the Lakers back in the day, that shit is where the money is, where the real payoff really is, right?
Yeah.
Look at a team like the Denver Nuggets in 2023. And then you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets going into the 2024-2025 season without KCP. And you mean to tell me a team like that is telling its fans, yeah, Christian Braun going to be the guy to fill them shoes? No, nigga, no. Like, I was like, if I'm KCP, I'm laughing my ass off in Orlando because you think that he going to play perimeter defense like me, shoot like me. Like, when I was putting up career numbers next to Nikola Jokic from three. You banking on that, but it's not even the front office's fault. They have no flexibility. Like you said, Boston in 3 years, you're not going to see Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and KP, and Drew Holiday, and Derek White. Probably 3 of those players will be gone, and what you'll have left at best will probably be Tatum and Brown, who you started with, essentially. But that's my thing. Like, all these teams are, the league has their parity. There have been 6 different NBA champions in the last 6 years. But when you start thinking about the long-term investment on certain players and certain, like Karl Anthony Towns, the longest tenured Minnesota veteran, right, helps get them to their best postseason run since 2004. And for what, Ox? To end up having to get moved because they looking at the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy to me. So then Ant, and now everybody's looking at Ant like, okay, well, he's going to get that next deal. Okay, great. But in 5-6 years, is it going to matter as much? Because are we going to have the ability to go get our role players like our KCPs, our Aaron Gordons? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have star players that still have name value, Russell Westbrook, that you can get on vet minimums. That's fine. But it's something that I think could end up being a problem. I might be over exaggerating. I don't know, but
I was on the road somewhere. I can't remember where I was going. I was listening to Mark Cuban's interview.
Yeah,
and he was saying that $1 billion contract is coming soon. Somebody's going to be signing $1 billion contract, and it's going to happen a lot sooner than we expect. Like, so the money, because they're just redoing their TV deals and whatnot, and so the money's going up, but I'm not mad at the parody, though. I like it. Like,
I'm not mad at it.
But it's like if you're gonna go all out, you got to be ready for some dark days.
Exactly. That's my thing. I've said it before. Like, because there's so much parity in the league, teams are gonna look and say, well, damn, how open is our championship window really? Like, you look at this, you look at the Sacramento Kings. The core of what makes up the Sacramento Kings starts with De'Aaron Fox, then goes to Sabonis, then now DeMar DeRozan. But then the quintessential pieces on the side, the Kevin Huerters, Trey Lyles, Malik Monk, like you said, the bench spark plug, like Keon Ellis, the development of him, like y'all have a good core of players that you look at and you say, okay, these players really help make up how good this team can be. Because if they're hitting their strides in their moments and playing their roles up to a T, then we look better overall, right? But then you, as the Kings fan, me for example, as a Warriors fan, shit, even in 2017, that 2017 Warriors team was better as a team than that 2018 Warriors team. That 2018 Warriors team was better as a team for what they had at their disposal depth-wise than the 2019 team.
Mm-hmm.
And that naturally happens, but from where we were in 2019 to now with the CBA, and now what teams are restricted to be able to do if they want, because in the NBA, it's essentially, you can have the richest owner in the business, Steve Ballmer, and this nigga was like, oh, I want Kawhi and Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, they hate you, we love you. James Harden, they think you're terrible, you are a system. Come on over. Like everybody. Like the ability to do that doesn't necessarily equate to wins. But I saw a graphic the other day and it said the more an owner spends on their team, the better their win percentage is in the regular season. Makes sense, but it doesn't pan out to long-term stability financially.
Right. Well, I mean, it just depends on what type of franchise you have. Like I had a coach before he played in the league, and he used to explain to us like, yo, everybody's not trying to win. Like a lot of owners own their team, but that's not their business. Like they got Fortune 500 they own Fortune 500 companies, you know what I'm saying? They got old money, you know what I'm saying? They're real estate moguls. They got money that's not coming from their sports team. They bought this sports team so they can have something to play with, something for their friends, you know, when they do business deals at that big level, they're bringing investors in from all over the world. I mean, come on, we're going to watch the game, you know, stuff like that. It's like, so you got to remember, like a lot of franchises, they have no intention on winning a championship. I'm not spending all that money. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna give them what we have to give them, and we're gonna kick it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not paying for a ring. So
Facts.
you know, you always got to figure out what type of franchise are you dealing with. I believe that we are now like we see the light. Like okay, we got a quick run. I don't think we got a championship team right now, but go for it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do the best we can. Because I'm like how we were saying, you can spend all that money and you got dark days. Well, we not far removed from dark days. Like dark days ain't nothing to us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's go get what we can, whether it's a Western Conference Finals appearance or whatever. Let's go make something happen because we got the best fans in sports. So you know what I'm saying? Let's have fun. Let's try to make a go of it.
Yeah.
Before you go, Ox, I got to ask you this about the Kings fan base because I swear I feel like I've only known a couple of diehard Kings fans in my life. Is Kings fandom like that, or do they pop up in ebbs and flows as the team is better? Like because like I know you're a Kings fan through and through, but like in general, like it just seems like you don't see very many diehard Kings fans.
I'm gonna tell you like this: in 2014, 2015. Arco Arena was rocking. Like, well, we serious, bro. Like, we come into the games and we gonna show out. I will say that there was something like there's a lot of Warriors fans that are Warriors fans today. They were Kings fans until about 2013. You know what I'm saying? They were like, okay, we had enough of this shit. They're getting good. Now we're Warriors fans, you know. So everybody didn't last, but we really do got a serious fan base. I mean, we got really good sports fans in Sacramento. Like, we were trying to get the A's for a long time. Now the A's are going to come to Sac for a couple of years before they head to Oakland while they're doing their thing down there. That's good. When we had the Monarchs, bro, it used to go crazy. Like, I don't know. We love sports. We love basketball. So the Kings fans are really good fans. Like, we got, you know, they do the cowbell thing. There was a while where we had the highest decimal.
For sure,
yeah. So we, you know, and then even so, game one of the playoffs, me and my brother went to that game. Like I had to get there first playoff game, so we got there, but it was loud, it was crazy, but we're serious. So, hey, we'll be back this year too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Anything left, Zeke? Were you about to say something before I asked that question?
Yeah, but I forgot. So fuck it.
I thought weed was supposed to make your memory better, bro. I thought that's what that was supposed to do. I thought that was supposed to make your memory better.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this. I quit. I had stopped smoking for a while, and I start forgetting shit. Yeah, so I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back on it because I can't be forgetting stuff.
I feel you, Ox. I feel you, man.
Yeah,
Before you go, Ox, man. Hey, when do I get my invite to come on Big Ox, bro? I've been waiting, man.
Oh, pull up. Oh, everybody's invited. Everybody's invited, but I have an open door policy. I've never,
I know
it's always
with you, bro.
Yeah, see, I'm probably my schedule's changing around, but bro, shit, anytime you see a notification, bro, that's an invite. Anytime you see a thumbnail, that's an invite. You know what I'm saying? Pull up. If you got time, bro, click that link, bro. And if you want, message me and tell me, hey, yo, I got time today. I'm gonna send you a link anytime we got anything going on.
For
so,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Pull up. As a matter of fact, I'll do the graveyard shift. Episode 100 is coming up, and that's gonna be a podathon. So I'm doing a 24-hour stream for the for episode 100. This will be our third podathon. So sometime during that day, just pull up and show some love. You know what I'm saying? Episode 100. So
definitely, I got you for that for sure. Because like 24-hour stream is crazy. There's no way.
Yeah. This is the third one, bro. I love them.
So. You got it.
Hell yeah, sure, but bro. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all inviting me though, letting me come up and speak on the Kings. Though, man, y'all have a good show.
Anytime, Max. We appreciate you, brother.
For sure, man. Y'all make sure to like the stream, y'all.
Yes, sir. Y'all heard the man.
All right, Z, man. Let's get into this next topic with the Sixers. There's so much going on with the Sixers in the last 24 hours, bro. It's been crazy. I guess we'll start off with Paul George. Initially looked like a hyperextended knee. He had some initial scans that day that came back clear, looked like everything was going to be fine. And then about a couple of hours before we went live today, he got a bone bruise on his knee. Now, that sounds like something that's not necessarily that serious, but many would remember that Lonzo Ball's injury initially started off with a bone bruise. Not saying that Paul George is everybody's different, right? But a bone bruise is something that could develop into something longer term. It just is. It's just the way you got to wait till the bone bruise can go down before the doctors can really determine the severity of it. When you hear this, we know that the Philadelphia 76ers built this roster so that they can still compete if Joel Embiid has to sit. We'll talk about the back-to-backs, things like that. But I do think one of the things that this team cannot weather and still be towards the top of the Eastern Conference is if you have Paul George and Joel Embiid out for an extended period of time. How do you feel about this update with Paul George?
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Like, at the end of the day, I looked at this Philly team, and these are reasons why I had New York as a better team, because they're more equipped to deal with situations like this. Now, it sucks because in Philadelphia's case, it's a situation where their two best players are the ones in this hypothetical that can't play, right? For the Knicks, it might be different. You're talking about, okay, if Jalen Brunson goes down and they have a situation where it's up to Cat and Mikal Bridges and OG to carry the load, like, will you put more stock in that? Cool. In the case of Philadelphia, though, I said it before, like, Joel's health is at the top of anything for me when I think about Philadelphia. And then right after that is the 34-year-old Paul George. And I told Gifted when he was on the show, like, what we've seen from a healthy Paul George in recent years is still what we would consider to be underwhelming when it comes to postseason success, where he is the guy in this situation. Like Hayes just said, the insurance policy for Joel Embiid, if he goes down, you need one guy that you can confidently say you can be the number one option for the foreseeable fucking future. And then we saw it, they tried to do it with Tyrese Maxey, and Philadelphia last year fell from like the 3rd seed to the play-in, damn near out the play-in in that stretch of time where Joel was gone. And then by the time he got back, all he could muster up was for them to get, I believe, the 7th seed. So that was like the best case scenario that they could make out of Joel Embiid's injury. This year, you're talking about starting off the injury. The season's what, 2.5 weeks away, if that, if less.
1 week away.
1 week away. Yeah. One week away.
Yeah. Tip off is this time next week. So
God damn. Like bro. like couldn't have been worse timing. But like you said, a bone bruise, like it's dependent on the person. Everybody's different. So if you want to say rest Paul George, you have Joel Embiid going into the season at least. and Tyrese Maxey, right? And all of the other pieces that you've acquired in the offseason, the Andre Drummonds, the Eric Gordons, the retainment of Kelly Oubre Jr. So you could just roll the dice with Joel Embiid, running it back essentially with almost the same crew from last year, with Joel being the primary focal point of the offense and the best defensive player on the team. So you can run with that and say, PG, take your time. We'll wait and see when you arrive here. We ain't trying to rush anything. So you don't want both of them to go down, though. That's what you don't want, because we already saw Tyrese Maxey as the number one option, and his first game had 50, and they lost. So we already saw that. And then it just went downhill from there. So, best case scenario for them to get out of this situation is, look, Joel, do what you can, and PG, take your time. Don't take too much time, nigga. Like we need you.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's major because according to Shams, he won't even be reevaluated for a week. So that doesn't mean he's returning in a week. Right. That means they're giving him a week to rest, hope that the bone bruise goes down, and then we'll take a look at diagnosing what long term, and that the bone bruise may not even be down by then. So again, I don't want to fearmonger. I don't want to worry any 76ers fans out there or anything, because very well he could be reevaluated in a week. They can look at it. They can say, bam, the bone bruise is down. You're good to go. We'll see you in 3 days. That very well could what it could be, but bone bruises can develop into a lot. And so, I again, knock on wood, let's hope that nothing's there, because again, the 76ers are betting on what they built in that totality of the team, the sum of the complete parts, because you've already, according to Joel Embiid, aren't going to see him on back-to-back. So you need Paul George there. And Paul George, his flexibility to be able to play multiple roles for the 76ers team. When you need him to score, of course, there's times where he can take over. You need him to take a backseat to Tyrese Maxey. There's absolutely times he's going to be able to do that as well. You need him to guard somebody. Theoretically, he'll be able to do that to a certain degree. So it's really big, because if you're out without Paul George for an extended period of time, while I like Eric Gordon as a bench piece, you're then looking at Eric Gordon probably being your 2 and moving Kelly Oubre to the 3. And we've seen that already.
Yeah. So, like I would not put any stock in a situation where Tyrese Maxey is the number one option. I can put stock in a situation where Joel Embiid's the number one option, because we saw it for that portion before he got hurt last year. Yeah. And what we saw was, and I said at the time, dude, Joel Embiid is the MVP, about to win that shit again, based off of what he was doing throughout the first 40 games last year, dragging that team essentially, because he was not only the engine on offense, but he was the engine on defense. I was like, yo, this is a situation where you look at Joel and you say, yeah, he's the best player and he's doing the most for his team, because without him, we saw they were barely a play-in team. With him, they were top 3 in the conference, challenging Boston some weeks, and before they really kind of took a big lead in the standings. But yeah, we've seen both of those movies. The point about all of that is we've seen both of those movies. We want to see what Paul George does. Like Hayes said, he is a versatile player for you. A 34-year-old Paul George, you need him to get a bucket, he got you. You need him to stand in a corner, he got you. And watch Tyrese Maxey cook, he got you. You still need somebody that can play solid enough perimeter defense, he's got you, right? And I would very interested to see him and Kelly Oubre Jr. in lineups and how that would work. But whatever. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But let's read the super chat. Appreciate you, Mitsu.
Yeah, for sure. Mitsu, former logo, always fire. Can't skip an episode. We appreciate you for supporting us, man. We're going to be here every single week, multiple times a week coming up soon now that the season's back on. But ZZ, with that said, Joel Embiid, I mentioned it already, said that he may not play back-to-backs for the rest of his career. With Joel Embiid, you always got to take something tongue-in-cheek a little bit, because sometimes Joel Embiid does be trolling. But this seemed like a very serious comment that he gave to ESPN. On top of that, there's been this whole kind of question around Joel Embiid and him not playing in the preseason, right? He's down reportedly 25 to 30 pounds, which should help alleviate some of the pressure on that knee and things like that. But we just saw Joel Embiid play in the Olympics. How concerned are you that he hasn't played yet in the preseason, on top of now hearing that he may just not play back-to-backs in the perpetuity, basically?
See, I'll tell you this. If Kawhi Leonard said this, then I would not have an issue at all. I would even bat an eye. I probably would just keep scrolling if I saw that, to be honest. But with Joel Embiid, it's different because it's a situation like you said. You look at the Olympics, and there were some question marks there for him. But when you look at a player of his injury history, especially within the last few years, and how it always seems to come at the worst time for him when he gets injured, right?
Yeah.
If you're Joel Embiid, what are you thinking to yourself about how we can alleviate that, knowing that the fans, the critics, the media, like are telling you that you're injury prone and telling you that you can't hold up and yada yada yada. Like Anthony Davis for a little bit was in the same boat, uh, especially around 2021, 2022 in that field. He was in that camp of players. And when you are an NBA player and you are put in a box where the label on the box is something like, for example, you're labeled as someone who can't shoot, like Derrick Rose. I saw his interview with Jeff Teague the other day, and he was talking about that perfectly. Like when you're in a box like that, it sucks. It's mentally draining, and you have to bring yourself out of that. So for Joel Embiid, he's looking at it and saying, look, if playing back-to-backs is being more strenuous on my lower half of my body, then I got to cut back on that. I got to figure out a way to alleviate the potential or probability of me getting hurt. He knows how important this season is for Philadelphia. Shit, this might be him having Paul George next to him, might be the best player that he's had as a number 2 option, if you will, in his tenure there. He's had guys like Ben Simmons, he's had guys like Jimmy Butler, he's had guys like James Harden, but in terms of just having a guy that can get his own bucket whenever, however, and just a crazy ass skill set, that's something that he's trying to probably look at and saying, okay, I need to figure out how the hell I can stay on the court as long as possible. And then when you look at what happened with Paul George the other day, if you're Joel Embiid, you're saying to yourself, damn, now I really got to stay on the court. So for people that's upset about load management and shit, I get it. I do. I hate load management as much as the next guy, really. But in the case of players that are injury prone and constantly get critiqued and constantly get slandered because they get injured, what other choice does he have? Like, what would you want him to do? Not get hurt? He's been trying to. That shit hasn't been working. So if you're Joel Embiid, it's like, damn, y'all act like I want to get hurt. I don't. So if this is the best option for me to keep the stress level off of my joints, all right, it is what it is. We'll see if that's successful. I don't think that that's a good idea team-wise, but we'll see. We're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, because the key thing is, and we won't know until the playoffs, right? This whole thing is built around what Joel Embiid losing weight, the team not playing him on back-to-back, sitting him in the everything right now is built around maintaining Joel Embiid's health so that he's finally fully healthy for you in the playoffs. That's what this is built around. That's every decision that the Philadelphia 76ers have made is leading to that point. And so, if it pays off, then great. It's just that I know this is going to be a conversation piece throughout the whole season. And it's one that it really shouldn't be. Like, I get it to a degree, but at the same time, we know what this is for. Hello, it's for the playoffs. That's what it's about. That's all that they wanted. They want to make sure that they're going to have the best chance to finally see how far can they really go with Joel Embiid being fully healthy. And, you know, I mean, you look at Joel Embiid and what he did not fully healthy. Like, half the man's face was paralyzed last year in the playoffs, and he still put up 200 points in 5 games.
Yeah.
Like, so we know that the man is capable of going off, right? Like, you just need to have the team around him, things like that. And so let's hope if this is what's needed to maintain Joel Embiid to where he can finally have that playoff run that's eluded him, it's worth the risk, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go back. Actually, I'm looking up the numbers from that. He put up 33 a game. Let's see, 33, 11, and 6 assists on 44% from the field, 33% from 3, and of course 86% from the line. He did that while battling Bell's palsy. Nigga, like, what are we talking about? I hate the Joel Embiid hate sometimes. Now, other times I understand that it's warranted because he be trolling, and I get a fan's perspective on it. I really do. But in terms of the talent, bro, like, the one thing I will say is we used to slander Anthony Davis when he got hurt. The same thing they did to Derrick Rose. Now it's all flowers. Give him his flowers. Y'all niggas used to make Derrick Rose memes. It's fine. It's cool. But y'all had y'all's moment where y'all was just making jokes about the fact that somebody can't stay on the court. Those same jokes are being applied to Kawhi Leonard right now. But for Joel Embiid, the one thing I've always given him credit for is like, yo, bro's gonna try to play through this. He played through a bout of Bell's palsy and a fucked up leg and gave you 33 a game when his team needed him the most to, honestly, through 6 games. Crazy work. Just you gotta, like, if you can't find it in your heart, even if you're a Denver Nuggets fan and the beef is real, like, just to get a man some damn respect for at least attempting to play through injuries, not being sidelined through injuries. It's not like Joel Embiid is like Ben Simmons. Oh, my back. I can't. I don't even want to try. Joel's like, nigga, you got Bell's. Joel's doctor. Hi, Joel. You have Bell's palsy today. Okay, give me a basketball. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. Give him his flowers.
Even basketball, get out the way, man. So we'll see what comes along for the Philadelphia 76ers. Praise up to Paul George. Hopefully it's not anything serious, and let's hope that that's the case. Moving into the next topic that we have, I got a surprise topic at the end of this for you that I can't wait to hear, but your boy Klay Thompson, the preseason. It's been rough for my boy, bro. 2 games out of the preseason, he scored 0 points. He scored a total of 10 points in like 60-something minutes over the course of the preseason. I'm going to throw this question to you, ZZ. Mm-hmm. Is it time to be worried about Klay Thompson?
I'll say this. No, it's not. And the only reason why it's not is because I look at Klay Thompson. I don't know how y'all look at Klay Thompson. But if this was a number 1 option or a number 2 option, of course, it's so easy to put him in the washed box. Shit, I was doing it last year, week after week. But why was I doing that? Because the way that the Warrior system operated, or at least the way Klay made that bitch operate, was, nigga, I'm gonna get my shots. So I may not be the second option, hypothetically, like on paper, but by the end of the night, when you check how many shot attempts were made, you're gonna think I was the first option. Like that. That's how it was some nights. That's how it was. So for me, him moving to Dallas, I said it before, he is in a third option situation, something that he hasn't seen since 2019, right? And he's being asked to fulfill the role of Tim Hardaway Jr. at the end of the day. When you look at the Dallas Mavericks and you look at them going into the regular season, I'm not going to be surprised if Klay Thompson has a 12 made 3-point night or a 10 made 3-point night just off of this nigga just getting hot. What is his job? That's what you got to ask yourself. What is Klay Thompson's job? Now, Klay Thompson went out there and played, what was it, 21 minutes, 0 for 9. Damn, Klay, like you're going to have to get in the lab and work on a new go-to shot. Nigga, you are at the point in your career where you have had 2 of the worst injuries that a basketball player could have. You took 2 seasons off your career, literally, and now you're back. You got to have a go-to shot. If it ain't a quicker, I mean, I can't even say a quicker 3-point release because the nigga shot is quick, but like something, a fadeaway, you drive into the cup, stop on a dime, pump fake, nigga, go something. You gotta have to have something that's a signature straight to you for this Dallas Mavericks era of his career. Third option on this team, like I'm not expecting much. I really not. Same thing that I can apply to Bronny James. It's the 55th pick in the NBA draft. I'm not expecting much from bro. I'm expecting a little something. I'm expecting you to do your job and what your role is. But Klay Thompson's the third option. He's 33 years old and 2 bad knees. Like, what are you expecting? What are you really expecting? Now, is he still going to be better than Tim Hardaway Jr.? Fuck yeah, he's still going to be better than Tim Hardaway Jr. If I was a Mavericks fan, I'd be jumping for jolly, jumping for joys, jumping for Jolly Ranchers at the idea that you replace Tim Hardaway Jr. with Klay Thompson. I'll live with that. Why? Why, Hayes? Because you'll live with it. Klay Thompson, he could go 0 for 9 in a preseason game. Is he still a top 5 shooter ever created? Yes. Yes, he is. So for me, that was why I never really got mad at Klay, because I was always like, dude, shooters shoot at the end of the day. I've seen games where Steph Curry didn't make a 3, right? I've seen games where Steph Curry didn't make a field goal in a half, but shooters shoot. So if you really like that, and you know for a fact that when he gets hot, it can become a problem. It's all about him getting comfortable. That was his second or third game with Dallas, and there was no Luka Doncic to run, 30-plus minutes, no Kyrie Irving to run 30-plus minutes, but you just got to get comfortable at this point. I'm rooting for the brother. Now, if Dallas fall off the fucking map, I won't care. Nigga, you went to the enemy. As long as the Warriors up, we straight. I don't give a damn what you do. As we got we worry about Buddy Hield. We're not worried about Klay Thompson. About Buddy Hield. like I'm about to be pushing Buddy Hield propaganda all year long just cuz.
Listen. All I'm saying is that I don't know how to go and forget the contract. How do you afford Buddy Hield's dental bill? That's the real question here, because that dude got some chompers on him, bro. Like if Buddy Hield was running towards you trying to bite you, that's more offensive than you pulling out a gun on me. I'm just gonna be 100% honest.
If they made a horror movie starring Buddy Hield's teeth, it'd still sell better than Joker 2. I promise.
Listen, bro. We could take 4 episodes of From the Logo, package them as a film, and it'll make more money than Joker 2.
Yeah. Hi, chat. Did y'all see that shit? I hope so. Because I didn't see it. I'm not going to see it. I said, you know what? Because anytime that there's a new movie that come out, I'm always like, I'm gonna sit back and wait. The Rotten Tomato final score isn't like the final thing that will decide if I watch it or not. I'm like, how does it match up to the audience score? Because then what you find in the medium of that or the middle of that, that'll let you know if you're gonna want to watch this movie. For example, Deadpool Wolverine. Loved both of the first Deadpool movies. But when I saw that Rotten Tomato score 80% plus, okay, when I see that audience score 80% plus and it's matching and they breaking box office records, yeah, I'm gonna go see that for sure. Oppenheimer, wasn't interested at first. After the reviews, all right, I'll go see it. Did I love it? No, I fucking hated it. It was boring.
Oppenheimer is one of the most boring movies I've ever seen.
Boring as hell.
I can respect the sense of like from a cinema. It's a beautiful film. Make no mistake about it. But it took me 4 sittings to make it through that movie, bro. Because I kept falling the fuck asleep. So,
yeah, but I'm not seeing Joker 2. I'm not seeing Joker 2.
It's not worth it, bro. It's not. Go see Terrifier 3. It's better. A better clown than Terrifier 3. Yeah. But I don't even know how we got to Joker and Terrifier 3 by talking about Buddy Hield's teeth. But that's crazy. But here's what I'll say, man. I'm not worried about Klay, because the thing about it is that Klay came here to play with Luka and to play off Kyrie. Luka hasn't played at all in the preseason. Kyrie's played in 1 game. He's played a total of 17 minutes. He set the other 2. I'm not worried about Klay. Klay still shot 38% from 3 last year. He's going to be okay over the course. Is he going to have some cold nights? Yes. Is he going to have days where he looks old? Yes. All that is going to happen. But overall, for the longevity of this season, I'm not worried about it. Because what Klay's role is, Klay has never had to be a role player before. That's his role. He's a role player now on this Dallas Mavericks team. His job, much like PJ Washington, much like Daniel Gafford, his job is to play off of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and they're going to get him the ball in his spots. I'm not worried about it. Like you said, the thing you came here to do is to be better than Tim Hardaway Jr. If we at the end of the season are saying that Klay Thompson wasn't better than Tim Hardaway Jr., hang it up, my boy. It's time. Hang it up at that point in time. But as of right now, I'm not going to let 3 preseason games make me all of a sudden start having a ton of concern about what and who Klay Thompson is going to be on this Dallas Mavericks team. I'm just not worried about it right now.
Yeah, I agree. Like my biggest issue with the Klay slander has always been like, what exactly is the issue here? Because I remember right before Klay Thompson was about to return and everybody, the game needs Klay. The world's better when Klay's playing basketball. All this bullshit. And then when Klay get back before that, everybody was like, well, he's going to be a step slower defensively. Of course. The man is missing an Achilles. Like, what are we talking about? You know, of course, he's not going to be able to get to his shot, to get to his spot, to be able to put together a dribbling move. He ain't never been able to put together a dribbling move. The nigga's handles have always been a C to C- at best, even peak Klay Thompson. Like, what are we talking about? So everything that everybody thought was going to go wrong with Klay Thompson, of course it would go wrong with someone. You like if his name was Michael Thompson, if that nigga was his father and he went through the same injuries, like you would, it would make sense for the production that you're getting post that. The thing that always bugs me is like nobody ever gives him credit for in his first full season back with the Warriors having 300 plus threes, shooting 12 threes a game and knocking down 41% of them. Like no one ever talks about that. Klay Thompson, the best volume 3-point shooter of all time, probably high volume. This nigga was giving you 41% on 12 threes a night. 12 threes a night. That is the only people that you can ever say can do that are him and Steph. And to be able to shoot above 40% after 2 debilitating injuries, give him his credit for that, right? Like you said last year, he shot 39% from 3. But when we call Russell Westbrook for shooting 28%, oh God, stop it. The man has a family. Nigga, like what? Like, what are we talking about? For Klay Thompson as a number 3 option, like Hayes just said, in Dallas, if y'all are putting stock in this nigga, what y'all think he gonna win MVP? All-Star? What do y'all think? Like what box is Klay Thompson in? He could go out there and shoot 0% from 3 next year. The nigga's still a top 5 shooter ever. Still prettiest form ever. Like all of those things don't diminish. 4-time champion. Those things don't diminish. Like there was nothing, and I mean to God, like nothing left for Klay Thompson to prove at 33, going on 34 years old. 4-time champion already. Then played with Steph, then played with KD, Draymond, Iguodala, been to multiple finals. Nothing left for this man. All NBA, second team, third team, defensive, nothing to prove except, like Hayes said, are you better than Tim Hardaway Jr.? That's it. That's all this nigga needs to prove.
That's it. It's simple. It's very simple. Very simple. So we'll see what that brings for Klay. ZZ, last topic before we go, because we've talked about this over the course of the updates. Lonzo Ball has an official date to return back to the basketball court. Officially tomorrow, around this time, Lonzo Ball will be checking into a basketball game for the first time in almost 900 days. And I've been saying this, you guys know I'm the Bulls guy. It is what it is. Everybody should temper their expectations on who, let what Lonzo is able to do on the court, build the expectations. But listen, every second that he plays this year, he's making history. Nobody's ever returned from either one of the surgeries that he's had. A cadaver meniscus, a dead person's cartilage in his knee. Nobody has ever returned from the surgeries that Lonzo Ball has had. He is making history every single time he gets back on the basketball court from now on. How are you feeling about Lonzo making his official return back to the court?
I love Lonzo. Always been rooting for Lonzo ever since Pat Bev tried to bitch him in his first game. And even back then, I was like, I think the thing that I like the most about Lonzo is that all of the hype that he got in high school, at Chino, at UCLA, it was all warranted. All of it was warranted. The things that people were questioning or doubting about his game, like his jump shot when he first got in the league, he improved that within 3 to 4 years. So you look at that and you say, okay, this is a guy that's determined. Not only was he working on his shot, he was already a phenomenal passer, phenomenal playmaker, great defender. So all of these things are what you looked at and you thought about when you looked at Lonzo prior to the injuries. But for me, like, my biggest thing is just like Lonzo's always been a good dude and a good hooper. And I think fans went from hating him because of his father to really growing an appreciation for him because they saw what he was doing in New Orleans. They saw what he was doing, obviously, in LA before he got shipped off. But what he was doing in New Orleans, that resurgence that he had from his three-point shot, and I think that first year in New Orleans, and then to see him in Chicago and see Chicago as a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference for the first time since like 2015, but at the expense of what Lonzo Ball was doing, orchestrating the show, it was incredible, man. So I know that we're not – like my expectations for it, obviously are the same that they were when Klay came back. We're not going to see what we saw prior to these injuries, but hopefully what we can see is this person stay on the court consistently and be able to contribute. And Lonzo coming back, the passing is still going to be there, like easily. If Lonzo Ball was blind, if he came back blind, he'd still be able to pass. Like that's how good of a passer he is. So, and then 3-point shooting, hopefully it's going to stay the same. I forgot what it was, and I was trying to look up the stat here.
38%, I think.
Yeah, like, bro, like he was, the improvement was just insane to witness. But yeah, his first year he shot 6 threes a game, shot 31% from 3. His second year improved to 33%. His third year improved to 37%, still shooting 6 a game. His fourth year in 2021, played 55 games, but he was still giving you, was it 15 a game, 6 assists, 2 steals, shooting it at 38% from 3. And then his last year when he played 35 games in that 2022 season, he was at that point shooting 7 threes a game and knocking down 42% of them. So you saw the improvement year by year. And that was the best thing that I loved, because I was like, the assists are going to go up. The playmaking's still going to be there, and it's going to continuously get better. That was what I was thinking before he got hurt. But now you ask, when he gets back, you just hope that he can stay out there for as long as he can. Because like you said, history is being made, brother. This is the type of history that was being made when Paul George came back from his injury with Team USA. Like that was crazy back then. But I'm here for Lonzo. Nothing but love for Lonzo, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, the basketball IQ, the passing, those are definitely things you look at and say that can translate early on for Lonzo. We'll see it defensively, because he turned into a dog defensively, guarding multiple positions. But that takes a lot of torque on your knee. So we'll see how he gets back to that. It's just going to be a steady progression, I think, for Lonzo all throughout this season. He's already not going to play back-to-back. He's going to be on a minutes restriction. So like I said, temper the expectations. But overall, what Lonzo Ball is doing right now is making history. And I, for one, am glad for him. At 26, imagine to make your dream, and then at 26 years old, it almost gets taken away from you. That's crazy. So we'll see what that development looks like for Lonzo over time. And he's already embraced more of a mentorship role, already admitting that he started his podcast because he wanted to stay close to the game in case he can't play the game. So just the fact that at 26 years old, he's already having that mindset and mentality of, I want to stay close to the game if I can't play anymore. You got to feel for that. And so, Lonzo's never played over 70 games. He's only played over 60 games once. That's probably not going to change this season. And we'll just see what the future holds for Lonzo. But I have a lot of love for Lonzo, and I hope that whatever is in store, he's able to just stay healthy and stay on the court as much as possible.
Facts.
Well, it's easy. If there's nothing left, man, that's it for today, brother.
Yes, sir. My camera cut off, but I can see you and everybody.
Right, no worries, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of From the Logo, man. We will be back next week. Hopefully, Gifted will be in tow as well. You never know what guest is going to pop up. Shout out to ZZ, who's been locking down the guests. We had Chill on last week. We got we had Ox on this week. You just never know. ZZ been over there killing it with bringing on the guests. So we'll see what we have for next week.
I told y'all from the jump, I'm turning Players' Choice into the WWE. We gonna have connections on connections. We doing segments for y'all. we turning this.
That's a fact, man. Well, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. You can catch us again next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time, man. We'll see you guys next week, y'all. Peace.